All right. So this is what spring cleaning is about. Spring cleaning is about getting rid of all the things that are cluttering our life, the things that aren't working for us, the things that we'd just rather not be there, right? And if we can take and do this consciously, we don't get rid of the things that we want. We just get rid of the things that are a burden to us. So, spring cleaning, it's about being conscious. It's about being aware. It's about being present in the moment, the right now moment, because that right now moment is always happening. And every right now moment that we can be aware of, we can create our life the way we want. I just took this little bowl right here. This is actually a terrace with hugelkultur on each side. And everything is growing really, really well in here, even if I don't plant something, right? And that's like it's like our mind. It's like our body. It's our life experience. If we don't plant the things that we want, other things will grow. And if we're not conscious to it, that means that just the things that happen from our environment become our life, right? Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? So, spring is a really good time to evaluate. It's time to evaluate everything about you and your life, of how you want to live it. From the car that you drive. I was just talking with somebody the other day, and they were kind of in regret because they just bought a brand new car, and they also have a brand new driver in their household. And this car, within a week, now has a brand new broken mirror and some scuffed paint on a house and on a car. And is it really the new driver's fault that the garage door is this wide and the car is this wide? I built my home, and so I made the garage door 16 feet wide, so I can basically drive in blindfolded. But it's everything. It's from what we drive to the house we live in. Do we live in the city or do we live in the country? Do we have a cat or a dog, or do we have both? Or do we create things in our life, or are we just consuming what somebody else has created? There's a lot of aspects of our life. I used to all of the advertising kind of dictated my meals. I was like, oh, McDonald's has a new one of these. I'm gonna try it. And then I try it, and it still wasn't that great. But it was new, and it was exciting, and the colors were bright, and the price was right. And so I tried it. And then I started realizing that I have a choice in my foods too. I shouldn't just eat what's popular, because what's popular has promoted diabetes and obesity and all sorts of problems. So anyway, I'm gonna see if I'm still actually recording, because this thing doesn't tell me if I am. And if I am, I'll still keep talking. I am. All right. Okay, come here, kitty cat. Come here, kitty cat. So I just realized that we have a pretty good little backdrop here, right? We have some smoke rolling. And that smoke rolling is creating ash that's going to work for gardens. And it also consumed some debris here that I just didn't have time or energy to put into the ground. So most of the debris that we rake up around here, it goes into the ground, into hugelkultur. But these are just such a burden to get those into the ground. So sometimes we have to make compromises in what we want to do. But being that I only drive to town, every couple weeks, I feel that my carbon footprint today is justified. We're carbon. And if we're doing a good job as creators here, we can exist. We can exist on so many different levels. And just saying, it's super to be human if we let go of what the society and the culture has advertised to us as what's normal. So just start asking some questions. Why do I do it the way I do? Is it costing me money to live? Is life a liability or an asset? Right? I mean, is me being here in this body a burden to me, or is it a benefit? And when it's seen as a burden, that could justify why there's so many people ending their own lives. But the thing is they're seeing their life as a burden because they're living the way everybody's been advertised. They're living the way that things are normal. And when things are normal, that doesn't mean that they're healthy. So sometimes we have to look to where we have to look to an avenue that hasn't been advertised a way of being, and that is nature, right? Like this cat, he just knows how to be a cat. If somebody told him that cats should bark, he'd probably ignore them. I mean, because he's like, I don't bark. You're not very smart, are you? You haven't been here long? Is that what you'd say? Huh? So, anyway, ask why. Clean out the old, burn it up, flush it down, do whatever you got to do with it to get rid of it. And let's start. What if everybody wanted to be free and healthy and happy and peaceful and abundant? Because most everybody I talk to wants that. But then when I look at the choices that they're making in life, it doesn't equate that. So if I do X, Y, Z, and it equals 1, 2, 3, this is the dharma and the karma, right? The dharma is your doing, and the karma is what you build. Natural law of cause and effect. The tide goes out, the tide comes in. So it's just the way things work, right? Cause and effect. If I go apply for a job, it means that I want that job, right? I want the money that job is going to provide, and so therefore I'm making a compromise with my time and energy to achieve what I desire. So that job is a means to achieve what I desire. But I hear so many people complaining about their jobs. I'm like, then why don't you just be your own boss? And they act like that's impossible. But I got tired of being bossed around, and so I just became my own boss, and it worked. And it took hard work, but it makes your life better, so it's worth it. So anyway, that's my talk for today. So, and Mr. Kitty Cat is all done too.